Okay, so today is October 13th, and Friday of this week, the 16th, you're taking a midterm exam. I wanted to go over some of the things we did in class. So the first thing, everyone got these reviews. I've posted this on Canvas. If you go to Canvas, go to geometry. Go to modules. And then here at the very top of modules, you will see what we did today. And so this is the midterm review. So this is what we started working on today. It's a total of 6 pages, but there are a few questions we are going to take out. So if you were not here, please follow along. The first thing I handed out, I handed everyone one of the bigger index cards. And so this is a midterm. There is a lot of information on this test. This is covering everything we've done up to this point in the year. So I will allow you to use a note card, and you can put whatever information you want to on there. I have some suggested material I'm going to show you. So you can cover this front and back. You can write small, you can put examples, but this is just some suggestions for stuff that I think is really important. So at minimum, you should probably have this stuff on your card. So if you want to pause this video and, write down what I have here. What I have here is, so the first thing we talked about in geometry was transformations. And you had several rules you had to memorize for transformations. So what we did today, we went over the translation, reflection, rotation rules. We went over the midpoint formula, the distance formula. So all this information you can put on a card, and you don't have to memorize it. You can keep this card with you during the test. Okay, so if you were not here at school today, which is Tuesday, the 13th, pause this video, copy this information down, and put it on your note card. Okay? So first thing, I want to go through the questions that you need to cross out on your midterm review. So on part one, we are not going to do question 11. Don't do question 11. Let's see that. You are not going to do question 17. That is not 17, 27. That is this ginormous proof. We're not going to do that. So make a big X over that question. And then on the part 2 of your review, we are not going to do question 12. So you can cross out all that. You don't have to do A, B, and C. Okay. So I want to review the material that we haven't seen in a while. I want to do that first, and then we can look at some other stuff. So transformations review. A blank maps a pre-image onto its image. That is just a transformation. Okay. A type of transformation where the pre-image slides onto its image, that was called a translation. A type of transformation where a pre-image is flipped onto its image is called a reflection. Okay. A type of transformation where the pre-image is rotated, it's in the word, onto its image is called a rotation. Yeah, it's in the word rotated, it's a rotation. So number 5, a type of transformation where the size of the pre-image increases or decreases onto the image is called a dilation. We didn't actually do dilations, we talked about them, but that was called a dilation. We will talk about them after Thanksgiving. Okay. In an isometry, the pre-image and the image are congruent. Or you can make that little symbol if you want. Okay. Number 13. So when the point 20 is rotated about the origin 270 degrees, okay, sorry, I'm going to fix something. I put an extra A in dilation. It should just be dilation. Sorry about that. So back to number 13, when the point 20 is rotated about the origin 270 degrees in a counterclockwise direction, the coordinates of its image are, well, you need to look at your rules. So you're rotating about the origin 270 degrees. What was that? Counterclockwise. So 270 degrees counterclockwise is the same thing as 90 degrees clockwise. The 90 degrees clockwise rule tells you it's y negative x. I'm going to write that down right here, y negative x. Okay, so basically these are going to switch spots and you're going to change the sign of your original x. So that's going to be 0, -2. They switch spots and then you're changing that sign of the original x value. All right, number 14. As a result of a particular transformation, the image of -2, 3 is now 3, -2. So where are those points? So -2, 3 be here. And then your new image, so this is your pre-image, and then the image was at 3, -2. So 3, -2. I can kind of see that I'm going to be reflecting over this line. But if you couldn't see that, look at what you're given. Let's see what would be here. A, y equals -x. That's when you're reflecting over this line. And we are not reflecting over that line. Y-axis. Y-axis is here, so a reflection there would be this point here. We are not reflecting over the y-axis. X-axis, that would be this line. So if it's 3 units away up there, it's going to be 3 units away here. No, that's not what we're reflecting over. So this line that I drew is actually the line y equals x. And that is what you are reflecting over. If you want to check your work, if you reflect over the line y equals x, the rule is it becomes yx, or they switch spots. Okay, is that what happened here? -2, 3 becomes 3, -2. Yes, they just switched spots. Right. On 15, I'm actually going to try to use a highlighter so you can see that a little bit better. So it says for 15, draw each of the following reflection lines. I'm only going to do a few. So y equals x, that's the one we did. That's going to be this diagonal line right here. X equals -2. So when you have this kind of situation, you're going to look at your x-axis, find -2. And this one, you're going to make a vertical line. Right? The y-axis, highlight that y-axis. That's what you're going to reflect over. Okay. What you need to do on your own, you need to do the other lines of reflection. Okay? So if we turn the page, number 16 says, suppose that triangle ABC is reflected across the x-axis. What are the coordinates of the image of B? Okay, so I want to find the original B. Original B is at -3, 2. Right? So what is B prime? So if we take this, we apply the rule for reflecting across the x-axis. What does the rule say? If you don't remember, get out your handy dandy note card. So -3, 2, if we're reflecting across the x-axis, x stays the same, change the sign on the y. So the x is going to stay the same, which is -3. Change the sign on the 2, that's going to become -2. Okay, so that was B. For number 17, it says, suppose the segment YZ is translated 3 units to the left. Okay, so, and then it says, what are the coordinates of the image of Y? So you're going to move Y 3 units to the left. 1, 2, 3. Where are you at? That is at -2 and 1. That was A. All right, I did 18 for you. And then on 20 through, well, I guess 20 had multiple parts. What you have to do on number 20, you have to do what the directions tell you. So for number 20, you're taking point F, which is at, looks like it's at -2, 1. And you are rotating it, nope, you are reflecting it across the x-axis. So keep x the same. And change the sign of the y, which would be -1. So your new point would be at -2, -1. All right, so you're going to do those. Just use your rules that you wrote out on your note card to answer the rest of those questions. Okay. Now I want to go back and briefly touch on the first section. Again, it's been a while since we've done this, so I want to review with you. Number 1, you're finding this segment from N to P. Well, we have to fill the chart in, or fill in that segment based on these directions. So it says MQ from M to Q, that is going to be 30 units. And then from M to N, that is 5 units. And it says MN equals NO. So that means this is also 5 units. And then it says OP. So this segment is congruent to PQ, right? So we've got 5 and 5, that makes up 10. And the rest have to get you to 30, but they're going to be congruent. So this has to be 10, and this has to be 10. So now if you were to find from N to P, that's going to be 5 plus 10, which is 15. For number 2, you have to make your own picture. So all this says is that point H is in between, or is between G and I. It does not say it's the midpoint. It just says it's in between. So if GH is 4x plus 9 and HI is 5x plus 2, and the entire thing, went over, is 56. You're going to use segment addition. So GI plus HI equals GI. Oh, two parts added together total to equal the whole thing. So set it up like that. So 4x plus 9 plus 5x plus 2 equals 56. Combine like terms, solve for x. 4x and 5x give you 9x. 9 and 2 added together gives you 11. Keep going. If you subtract 11 on both sides, you end up with 9x on the left, and then 56 minus 11 is 45. Divide by 9 on both sides. You get x equals 5. Right? So we're not done. If it tells you x is 5, you still have to find HI. HI was this 5x plus 2. So 5 times whatever x is plus 2. You know that x is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 plus 2 is 27. For number 3, you are using the midpoint formula. Okay. For number 4, this was one of those questions where you had to make your own segment and you just had to count based on the information it gave you. So we have the midpoint of BC is M, and M is at -10, -16. One endpoint B is at -1, 8. You need to find the other endpoint, which is C. All right, so if we look at these numbers, if I look at -10, that's my x value here, and I'll look at -1. How did you get from -10 to -1? You added 9. I know this is not going to necessarily line up with a number line, so don't think about that. Just think about, how did I get from -10 to -1? All right, so you are going to do the opposite to get to the other endpoint. If you added 9 to get to that endpoint, you are going to subtract 9 to get to the other endpoint. So -10 minus 9 is -19. And then if you look at this endpoint, we have -16. And you go all the way up to 8. Okay, we'll think about, so from -16 to 0, that's 16 units. Okay, from 0 to 8, that's another 8 units. What is 16 plus 8? 16 plus 8 is 24. All right. So how did you do that? I almost lost my calculator. So if you added If you added 24 to get from negative 16 to 8, you are going to subtract 24 to get to this side. Okay, so negative 16 minus 24 should give you negative 40. Okay. The key to those is you have to count. And what you do on one side, you have to do the opposite on the other side. Okay. For number 5, you are using the distance formula for those points. For number 6, these are, this is an angle and this is your angle bisector. So you can set these two segments equal to each other. So you end up getting 8x minus 20 equals 1/2 x plus 25. And all you have to do is find x. Right. For 7, which angles are a linear pair? So I see angle 4 and angle 5. I also see angle 1 and angle 5. Those make a line. Okay, so somebody asked me today, what about 1, 2, and 3? Yes, all 3 of those make a line, but that is not a linear pair. So that's more like a linear triplet. Okay. Number 8, which are vertical angles? You would have angle 1 and angle 4. Those are vertical angles. Using what you know about vertical angles for number 9, it says in the diagram to the right, the measure of angle 1 is 4y minus 42. The measure of angle 3 is 2y. So all you have to do here is set those two expressions equal to each other. And then solve for y. Once you find out what y is, you have to plug it in to find the measure of angle 3. And then last thing I want to do is number 10. Number 10, you have these parallel lines cut by a transversal. And it tells you that in the directions. It says if J is parallel to K, find the value of X. So there are lots of different angles created here. Something I see is that 8x minus 11 and this angle are vertical angles. So if you take the 79 and this angle added together, they should total up to equal 180 because they that's the rule here for same side interior angles. They add up to equal 180. So we're going to do 8x minus 11 plus 79 equals 180. And then once you find x, that's all you have to do. Just solve that equation. First thing you have to do, though, is combine like terms here. Don't forget to do that before you start moving things around. Okay, and that's just kind of an overview of what we did in class today. So if you were not here, please print this. Please get a note card when you come into class. If you have not taken your test yet, you need to take your test. I will be sending out messages for those folks that have not completed their test. All right, thank you.